Alright guys, back for more Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Let's go.
Fucking lions.
Ella. Ella. Yeah. Yeah.
Alright. Fucking warthogs.
Let's go. Ella.
The Grotto of Pan. Okay. Is this...
Come on.
Okay, it's a slightly shorter distance. And I can always warp back to it.
Ella.
The War Factory.
Yeah. Yeah. Ella. Yeah. Yeah.
Messene. Wasn't there a thing to... like, get more of the, get more of the, sync points? Maybe I already did, I might have already done that one. Oh wait, wasn't it in abilities? Madness Cave, okay.
Come on.
Okay. Let's see. Lost Horse of Odysseus.
Let's go. They'll be on high alert here. Move. Ella. Let's go.
Oh, fuck. Artemis's hunting grounds.
Off we go now.
Oh, God. I don't want to fuck with a bear right now, so fuck that. Is there another bear? Where is this guy? He's all the way back in tier 9. Fuck that. All the way in tier 3.
Come on.
Alright. Alright, so...
Let's go. Let's hope no one notices me here.
Alright, let's get this sync point because it's nearby anyways. Vista Pylos? I honestly very much wish that English was a consistent language in regards to spellings and pronunciations, because, holy shit. Half the time you need to hear how words are pronounced to know how to pronounce them. When it comes to, like, English spellings of shit. Stupid. Okay. Backtrack a little bit. I don't know. Come on. There we go. Well, you should see Polythene Pam.
Ella.
She's a woman, but she looks like a man. You should see Polythene Pam. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Let's go.
Donut in jackets and kilts. She's killer dealer when she's at the hilt. You could say she was exactly built. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Giant boar hideout.
Off we go now. Yeah. Ella. Ella.
Mount Ithomfort. Ithome. I honestly can't wait for the Percy Jackson TV series. It's shaping up to be okay. Like, although, granted, you can't do worse than the movies Fox put out over a decade ago. Like, genuinely, you really can't. Like, they're bad as book adaptations, they're bad as movies in their own right, and it's just, I don't know. So much wasted potential. I'd still watch it over Power Rangers Super Mega Force, but that's damning with faint praise. Both are shit, just in different ways. Oddly enough, both of them adaptation related, partly. I need to actually watch the Sea of Monsters movie, though. I've seen the Lightning Thief movie several times. Mostly because it was on TV. Sometimes when I caught it. Percy Jackson TV series is, or the Percy Jackson movie is garbage. the movie or the TV series legitimately has so much like clearance. Not sure how I feel about Black Annabeth though. So the thing is, Annabeth's white. I think I mentioned this probably in a previous part. Annabeth's white in the books. Some people don't like you mentioning that for some reason. I don't know why. It's like, okay, the TV show is changing something from the books in this regard. That's a fact. It's okay to point that out. Like, Annabeth is white. She's blonde in the books, naturally. And it's like... I don't know. Like, I don't understand whatsoever how that's a bad thing or a wrong thing to point that out. I legit got called a fucking white Annabeth truther on Twitter when I pointed that out, and it's just like, come the fuck on. Weirdly enough, apparently from one of the Twitter accounts that I follow, I think it's one that was posting updates about the Percy Jackson's show as they were casting for some of the characters, and what was it?
Let's not try to start a revolt while we're here, eh, Karos?
One of the girls that they were looking at to possibly cast as Annabeth before they made their final decision was the chick who played Charlie in Good Luck Charlie, which I think would have made perfect sense. She looks the part, and like she's the right age, and she I don't know. She's also like, Disney likes to keep, when it's not casting like young actors that have never like acted before and have never acted in a Disney product before, they like to keep within the family, and weirdly enough, she was already in the family of Disney because she was on Good Luck Charlie. That would have been a good role for her, I think, because she hasn't really been in anything since Good Luck Charlie, as far as I can tell. At least nothing that like has been that substantial. You know? I'd like to see how much of an actress she has grown into, you know? But yeah. But, you know, I'm accepting of who they actually got. It's fine. I don't care. But it's just like, it is a change from the books. And it's not bad to acknowledge that. It's stupid. I hate people. I genuinely just hate people, especially on Twitter, who are just like the stupidest of the stupid. There are so many people on Twitter who are fucking dumb. Like, it's unbelievable how stupid people can be. And then the fact that the majority of them are on Twitter. So many people are so goddamn stupid that it's not even funny. There we go. Half the time the horse goes where the camera's pointed for no reason. But yeah, when it gets done, it'll probably premiere next year, when it's done, like, filming, editing, and being put together and everything. I'll watch it, probably do a review. I expect it to be good. Like, and again, you can't do worse than the Fox movies, but I don't know, somehow I feel like you can do worse. But anyways, yeah. I expect it to be good. I expect it to keep within the tone and spirit of the books. Yeah, I think that would be good. It's really, really shitty how badly Fox, like, botched the adaptation of the Percy Jackson books in the movies. Because it's just like, Rick Riordan, at the time when he was writing those books, was like setting up his own like book cinematic universe, you know? Maybe not cinematic, because, you know, cinematic comes from cinema. But, like, his own little book universe of characters based on, like, Greek, Roman, Egyptian, Norse, and I think one other mythology, maybe? Because, you had Percy Jackson, then the direct sequel series was called, Heroes of Olympus. And then you had the Kane Chronicles, which were set in the same universe. I'm trying to think what else. I think the Trials of Apollo is also... I think that's isn't that a sequel series to the Heroes of Olympus? They have, like, other shit. And he had, like, other shit as well that he was writing. And it's like... You guys botched it so bad. Like, literally, if they had done the Percy Jackson series right, we would have adaptations of the Hero of Olympus books. Probably the Kane Chronicles. Fuck you. You fucking run off on me, you bitch. But anyways, yeah, we'd have that. I think, like, more and more we're seeing book adaptations become TV shows instead of movies, unless if the books are short enough that they can be fit into a film's runtime. Because ultimately, the structure of a book lends better to a TV series than a movie for the most part. Although, it largely depends on how big of a story you've got in the books. You know? Yeah. Like, for instance, Harry Potter, if it's eventually readapted into something, like a reboot, whenever the fuck that would be, the structure, I think, would fit better into a TV series. And you could have each season be different lengths, you know? Like, what was it? Like, for instance, books 1 through 3 could easily be 7 or 6 to 8 episodes that are an hour each. 45 minutes to an hour each. And they vary in regards to length of time due to how much they adapt per episode. You know? Like, that could easily be done. And then books 4 through 7 would probably be better to be done in like 12 to 13 episodes. Because of how just long they are. Jesus Christ. You know, it's just shit like that. Oh, you're stuck there, you bitch. Yeah. It's like shit like that. I don't think Warner Bros. Is gonna do another, or like a reboot of the Harry Potter series into, or adapting from the books, until like a significant amount of time has passed. You know, where they could like get away with it and people would be okay with it. But yeah. Because a lot of people do have nostalgia and good, warm feelings towards the Harry Potter movies. Mostly because they grew up with them. But yeah. And I feel like a readaptation of them would allow them to do more justice, not only to the books, but also stand alone. You know? Because, the main problem with the... Mainly, movies... 3, 4, 6... and to a degree 7 and 8, is that they weren't given as much time as was probably needed to properly... oh my fucking god. Properly adapt the books and tell a good, compelling story with how they adapted them. Yeah. Granted, though, well, Prisoner of Azkaban, the movie, generally people like it, I think, for the fact that it's a good, as a film, it's a pretty well-made film. But the problem with it is how they adapted it from the book. They left a lot out for no reason, and they changed around a bunch of things that were stupid to change around, in my opinion. You know? And, yeah. And it's really weird, because, like, I think if they had a more, like, loyal script and everything to the book, and whatnot, that could have been the best of the movies, because I already think it's the best of the books. Like, Prisoner of Azkaban, I genuinely think is the best of the books. Because, I mean, if I compare it to the rest of the Harry Potter books,
Let's go.
like, it doesn't have the newness and growing pains of the first two books. It doesn't have the bloat of book 4. Because if I can say something about the Goblet of Fire book, the Goblet of Fire book is bloated. It is too long, and it has too much going on. And the problem is, like, J.K. Rowling, in my opinion, did not write Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, the book, to properly have a good amount of, like, well-told shit in it for the filler, because there are a lot of parts of Goblet of Fire that legitimately feel like filler. And the pacing of the book suffers for it immensely. Meanwhile, first two books, well, the first book in particular, Philosopher's Stone, did not, like... It's the first book in the series, so you cut it by a first-time author, so you cut it a lot of slack for having stuff that doesn't really... or that wasn't really great. Then Chamber of Secrets is actually okay. You can tell J.K. Rowling got better at writing what she wanted to write and everything, and she thought, I think, of a more compelling plot, and there's not as many plot holes and shit like that, and contrivances. And then Prisoner of Azkaban is a really good mystery novel. Like, all the Harry Potters are mystery novels to an extent, but like Prisoner of Azkaban to me is just the one that has the best of everything in it. It has the best pacing, it has the best like mystery of it, it has the best like characterizations for the most part. I don't know. To me it holds up a lot better than the majority of the other Harry Potter books because of that.
Careful in this area.
What else? Then yeah, it just holds up better in my opinion compared to most of the rest of the books. And it also doesn't suffer from J.K. Rowling's like bad and weird like political bullshit that she has in her brain. But then book four, like I said, it's bloated to fuck, and it doesn't like, I don't know. Like J.K. Rowling had like, it's fine that J.K. Rowling had a lot of ideas that she wanted to put into the book, but I don't think it was paced that well. And I honestly think that, like, she should have, had someone, like, or a few different people test read the book for her, with, like, the next to final draft that she had, and ask if, like, ask where she could cut down on certain things. Because there are multiple chapters, I think, and multiple events and sequences that you could easily cut out of the Goblet of Fire book, and you would have like a much tighter and better written story as a result of it. On top of that, I heard years ago that I think it was after Goblet of Fire came out. It was sometime after Goblet of Fire came out. I can't remember if it was after like one or two of the other books did as well after it, but I heard years ago that apparently J.K. Rowling had a bit of a tough time finishing Goblet of Fire, because she, what was it? She wrote the ending, or she thought of the ending, but then she realized that the ending didn't make any sense. Meaning, I believe the Harry getting teleported to the graveyard where Voldemort was at, and needing to duel him and whatever the fuck else, and J.K. Rowling realized that she had gotten all the way to the ending of the book, or that specific like chapter, and then realized that she didn't have a proper like setup to it to make it pay off. And personally, that's where I think she thought of Barty Crouch Jr. Because if you actually pay attention to the writing of it, Barty Crouch Jr. wasn't really thought of until like midway through the book. And I think it was at that point where J.K. Rowling easily put that shit in, because it probably was the thinnest part of the book, and she easily just slotted it in and hoped no one would notice. Yeah. Because outside of a few things that she also inserted into some of the earlier chapters, Barty Crouch Jr. just kind of comes out of nowhere. And then on top of it, like, I don't think it's foreshadowed enough. And, like, built up to as much as the other novels would build up to their climaxes and endings and shit like that. You know? I don't know. Now, the movie the Goblet of Fire movie overdid it with setting up Barty Crouch Jr. before he was supposed to be revealed at the end. And don't get me wrong, that's admirable of them to attempt to do. But personally, they overdid it with having Barty Crouch as Moody and as himself doing the tongue flick shit. And then what was it? And then what else? Just other stuff that they did. They honestly just really overdid it in regards to the foreshadowing and everything when it came to Barty Crouch Jr. Here's the thing. They should have taken out the tongue flick bullshit. They didn't need Barty Crouch Jr. there with Wormtail and Voldemort at the beginning of the movie. That was just overplaying it a little bit. And maybe a few other things they didn't need. But, like, other than that, I feel like if they just took those things out and changed them, or just didn't do them at all, I think that it would have been better. You know? Oh, but yeah, and then, right, there's the foreshadowing with Barty Crouch Jr. at the beginning of the book, where, J.K. Rowling has this mysterious person in the woods near where Harry is. He grabs Harry's wand and sends up the Dark Mark and shit like that. And it's like, I don't know. But yeah. I really don't think either version does it that well, in my opinion, for the foreshadowing of Barty Crouch Jr. Order of the Phoenix I felt was better. And I think one of the reasons for that is that J.K. Rowling spent 2 years writing it as opposed to 1. One of the failings of Goblet of Fire, in my opinion, was the fact that J.K. Rowling wrote it in a year. Like she had the previous books. The problem, however, is that it was like twice as long as the first 3 books were individually. And unless if you're like a really experienced writer, I don't think you personally should do that. It's why I feel like the story is very bloated. And doesn't, like, have a lot of great foreshadowing and everything of Barty Crouch Jr. and everything. Is, like... Because, like, the problem with the story is just, like, it's not... The final draft that she submitted to the publishers was just like, they didn't... I don't think that they really wanted to challenge her on anything because she had proven to be such a success. So she had been given basically an auteur license. And while I can understand that, it unfortunately didn't lead to a great book. And I know a lot of people like the Goblet of Fire book. It's fine. You can like what you like. I don't blame you. To me, though, it's just a little too, it's a little too bloated. And the story is not as well written as some people like to claim. Like, the book just meanders a lot. Because of, like, all the filler and bloat that's in it. And the reason I say it's filler is because it genuinely feels like filler. It's like anime filler, basically. Where, like, they try to, like, expand upon stuff that was in a manga chapter, you know, for an episode. It's like a lot of the filler in Dragon Ball Z.
Let's go. But
yeah, and I feel like if you take out a lot of the filler and you just focus on the story, or focus more on the story, you'd have a more tightly written narrative and book, you know? I don't know. Right, I can just fucking fast travel. Eh. Let's see if there's anything extra on the way. Jesus Christ. Fucking wolves. Fuck it. Because there's fucking walls around the city. There we go. Oh yeah, then Order of the Phoenix. Order of the Phoenix I feel is better written for the most part. And mainly that's because J.K. Rowling took 2 years to write it as opposed to just 1. I feel like if she had just stuck to the 1 year per book release schedule that she had been on for the first 4, the Order of the Phoenix book wouldn't have turned out as good as it is. There are really bad parts, though. Mainly when it comes to, like, plot holes and portraying of the politics in the Harry Potter universe. A big plot hole being that, like, J.K. Rowling introduced the pensieve, which it's the device that allows you to take out memories from someone's brain and put them in to view them as they originally were, or as they are. And for some reason, and then also she introduced Verita Truth Serum.
How can I help you?
She introduced both these things in the Goblet of Fire book, and they also were in the movie. So the weird thing is you get immediate plot holes with the Ministry of Magic, like, or no one from the Ministry of Magic suggesting that they use one of those to view Harry's memories of that night. And the thing is, they easily could have and should have done it, like, right after Harry got back and everything. Like, they easily could have. Okay, I'm almost done, like, upgrading everything. Just need a lot of fucking materials. But yeah, they easily could have used, the pensieve
People sure like
and or they easily could have had Harry volunteer to go under Verita Truth Serum to prove he's not lying about what he saw and what he remembers about the graveyard and everything. Because that is one of the biggest things about that. You can explain it away as the Minister for Magic, Fudge, being way too paranoid and scared and whatever the fuck else and wanting to make an example out of Harry. But that's never brought up within the book at all. As a result, it's a plot hole. Like, if it was in the book established that happened, and it's not just fan speculation or shit that J.K. Rowling might have said after the book came out, then it's just speculation and additional canon that is not in the books. I wonder if J.K. Rowling's ever been, like, interviewed on, like, why she put certain things in the books, or didn't put certain things in the books. 'Cause, yeah, just a lot of plot holes that she could have easily taken care of if she had done any amount of thinking, or gotten anyone to help her, like, write the books. Or test read the books for her, and bring up certain things that should have been brought up before she submitted the last draft of the books to the publishers. It's honestly so stupid. I don't understand whatsoever how, like, people have not, like, brought this up as a big plot hole. Or these two things up as a plot hole.
This area will be well defended.
And, like, I don't know. On top of that, fucking time turners. Like, the time turners are the biggest fucking causes of plot holes within the Harry Potter series, but the thing about it is just like, you have a thing that is introduced literally the book before all the shit goes down with Voldemort coming back and all that. And you easily could have had someone, like, go to where the maze was set up for the Triwizard Tournament, have them go back a certain amount of, like, time, like, rewind time a certain amount with the time turner, and, like, I don't know, take pictures and shit like that. Maybe if there's a good way you can do that with, like, I don't know, fucking, what do you call it? A fucking camera. Like, they certainly seem to be able to have cameras at Hogwarts, even though, you know, and this isn't explained in the movies ever, for some reason, but, regular technology burns out in Hogwarts because of the intense magical energy that's there from having so many wizards and witches gathered in the building. But Colin Creevey, in the books that he appears in and the movies he appears in, has a pretty old camera that he uses to take pictures with. I don't know. Alright guys, I'm going to pause here and continue in the next one.